Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video of my little brother's 89 Chevy K1500 build. This would be essentially part 6, but it's not really too much of a part series at this point. We've just been kind of working on the truck. We've engine swapped it recently. That was a 4-part series. Last video, part 5, we did some tie rod ends, and we also did the ignition tumbler in the truck. And something I have going on today is actually real small to start off today's vid. We just got to throw in these little spark plug just dividers. They'll get them away from the exhaust manifold so we don't burn those up. And I'm sure we will have a couple other really fun things coming for the truck this video as well. But something I wanted to show you guys that I thought was hilarious is it rained last night and this truck just doesn't leak out water. So we've moved James's truck down. These are actually going to be the new valve cover bolts, but we got a 7/16 socket on here right now. And we are going to be pulling off the center valve cover bolts. Doesn't take much. Once you crack them, you can just get them out by hand. And we're going to do just one at a time. Make our lives a little easier. A little bit more visually pleasing for y'all, honestly. So we're gonna take these. We're going to just pour them out right here. That way we can see what we're working with. And since there would only be 2 wires going back, we're going to run this little 2-hold plastic piece right there. Run a bolt with it. So the bolt will sit right down in there. It's got a real clean fitment. That is very nice. Serves a good purpose. So should be able to start these right in there. Going in nice and smooth. Now I gotta go get an Allen key and tighten it down. Pretty funny. 1 and 2 actually just run right into here like the one we installed. So these will just slide right up, go through number 2 to start. The front one keeps just the regular bolt, so that can go back in. So it literally just goes 2, 3, 4, and that's it. So it's pretty straightforward stuff, but this is kind of a look of what it looks like with the wires just kind of all over the place before the guides are in place. Well, and there it is. All of our wires are out of the way of the exhaust manifold now. Looks a little cleaner. We got them both set up on each side. I haven't set up that extra one back there yet. It's a little bit more of a mess, but that'll pretty much be it for that. Well, there we are. We got the air box back on. I did attach that one in the rear there. Everything is all cleaned up. It looks good, though. Actually, it's the color's not as crazy as I thought it was going to be. But we can close this up for now, and I'll see you guys in our next fun project. Well, boys, looks like I'm going to be showing you how to change out your starter. In one of the videos, I showed you guys me kind of throwing it up there, but this is a little bit more of a how-to today because the starter is dying in the truck. Sometimes the truck starts, and then other times it just completely doesn't engage. So got a couple little problems going on. The radio wasn't turning off the other day, so I had to unplug the battery. And on top of that, when we start it, it sounds like it's cammed. It's not happy. So we got a couple things that we got to look at, but right now we're just gonna see if it starts. That thing is definitely cooked. Well, this is wonderful. Earlier in the video, I showed you guys all the water that was in here. I guess it does have a drain hole. Or someone drilled one. Yeah, that makes sense. That's too bad, too, because probably would have drained this outside if I would have known. Whole point of putting it in the garage is to stay dry. But at least we're working on that side, so that is nice. Well, boys, first things first, we're going to come in here, take our 5/16 wrench, and disconnect the battery. We're going to start with a negative terminal. I'll disconnect both for now just because you don't really want anything to arc or spark. All right, so the starter is going to be located on the passenger side of the truck, probably right about here-ish if I were to take a guess. So we're going to get under there right now. Right there is our starter. We have 2 bolts, one right there, one right there. We're going to find a socket that fits those. So I'm holding this is a 1/2, so it's bigger than 1/2 for sure. I think it's going to be a 9/16. Yes, it is. So I'm going to put my gun in there and we're going to zip those 2 bolts off. They're pretty long, both of these. All right. Well, there's the 2 bolts that hold it in place. And then we're going to take our starter. We're going to drop it down here. And then we got to disconnect the wires in the back. Not too hard of a job, honestly. Overall, it's very doable. We're going to have to get under the truck a little bit more and find a wrench to fit on the back half of the starter to undo those wires. So we got our 8mm wrench. We're going to put it on the back of here. Like I said, make sure your battery is disconnected. That way you don't arc anything out. We're going to have to just work off that little nut on the back to start. Don't want to forget where that goes. Probably maybe get it by hand. It's a little awkward down here. You don't get a ton of space, but we are working that nut off. Now we can disconnect that wire. And I'm going to want to hold on to these nuts and stuff just in case the new starter didn't come with the new ones. So here we go. Get this right off of there. Perfect. Right here, I got a 5/8 ratchet up on there. Made my life a little bit easier as opposed to trying to fit a wrench up there. So all right, yeah, it is actually loosening. It's so overkill because I have such a big ratchet on there. I couldn't even feel the nut loosening. Now I just gotta find a fun way to work it out of here. Yeah, not even a second after we got this coming down. Wow. Well, there you go. Starter's out. It's that easy. Now we're going to take our new starter and compare it to the old one and then get it up in there. All right, so here is our new starter. I got it sitting up in place. We have just ran the big wire onto the big terminal. I got to tighten that up. But I'm going to take the small wire, wherever that may have gone, and attach it to our small terminal. And thankfully, they did give us some new hardware too, which is pretty cool. But this little terminal goes right on there. Like this would be best. And then I'm going to do the same thing I just did. We're going to put our crush washer on there first. Get our nut on there. I'm going to tighten both of those up the same way you watch me loosen them. All right, we're getting that all tightened up. And then I'm going to lift it into place and send in those 2 bolts you originally watched me take off. All right, we've gotten our starter right here. So the starter's kind of shaped like a half moon. The flat side is going to sit just right here. So this is the flat side. It's just got to get rotated a little bit. These 2 holes at the bottom are what we're going to send our bolts through like you saw. And that half side sits straight here because the opening for where the little starter gear comes out hits the flywheel and turns over the engine. So I'm going to need 2 hands to get this up in place, but I'll show you guys once I get it up there. Well, takes a couple seconds of fighting with it, but I'm gonna make sure it's tight by hand, and now it's all up there and we're good to go. It's that simple. It's a pretty easy job. All right, it is officially all hand tight. We're gonna go up above and see if it starts. So, the truck might sound mopey, and that's okay. We'll come back to that later, but we're just gonna give this a start and see what happens, honestly. So we got all sorts of fun things to look into. Yeah, see, she is not happy. So our current issue right now is the service light did come on. It's running real lopey. So we're going to show you a quick way to get codes from your OBD1 port if you don't have a scanner. So I'm going to take this PaperClip and I'm going to stuff it in the A and B ports right down here after I turn on the key, though. I'll show you guys what we got going on here. So I believe we're going to want to turn the key once I get it in the ignition, and hopefully this will work. So we got our key turn. Our service light is on when the truck is on. I'm gonna come down here, plug into our A and B ports, and as soon as I do that, it's going to cycle through a couple times some codes for us. All right, there we go, and it's gonna. All right, it's gonna blink one more time, flash 3 times. It's gonna do that 3 times. 3. It's gonna blink once more, and then do it again. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I guess twice, sorry. Now it's gonna tell us our code. 1, 2, 1, 2. Oh, it's 22. 1, 2, and it's gonna do it 3 times as well. And then 1, 2. So all right, we have code number 22 going right now. And 1, 2, and then 1, 2. Sorry, it's a little confusing. So it's going to flash once originally and then flash twice. Okay, so it's saying we have another code. Maybe. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So 33. 3. 3. Okay. So it's giving us 2 codes. Now, this is really interesting. Now, I don't know what happens after it shows us the codes, or if it's going through a list of codes. Boom. 42. 12. Oh, actually, that's not 12. I think that's its cycle saying that it's just read all the codes to us. Because that's what it did in the beginning. It goes 1 and then 1, 2. 1 and then 1, 2. So as you guys have just seen, we showed you guys how to diagnose the truck with a paperclip. Sorry, it was my first time doing it, so it wasn't very professionally done, but whatever. You guys get the point. The truck is also reading that has a bad map sensor, which is a pretty big deal. So that's probably the first thing I'm going to change. I have an old one that we're going to throw on. If we're still having problems, it could be bad because it's old, but the likelihood of it being bad right off is kind of low. It gave us a throttle position sensor error. As you guys probably saw, I probably clipped them all down below for you anyway. But the throttle position sensor error, we could have been caused because we actually unplugged it while the truck was running to see if it was going to make a difference and plugged it back in. Well, this happy little fella right here is our map sensor. And we got to take this off. Wow, I can't believe I got the second smallest wrench. I thought that was going to work. It is a quarter. Is it really? No, man, it's not even a quarter. All right, it's actually a 9/32 to get on here. And we are going to pull this sensor off and literally just go swap it out with what's on the truck and see if this is our issue or not. So like I said, we're getting a code for it. And there could be other things that's making it throw a code. There could be, some sort of bad ground, bad wire, bad sensor somewhere else, a bad fuse. Who knows? I'm not too sure what all is involved to connect to the sensor. So we are going to go rip this off, get it on the truck, and I will see you guys out there. So we are inside of the truck right now. This is our map sensor right here. So we got to pull that little plastic tab off. Get that back on there. We don't want any vacuum leaks. Going to pull off all of our electrical connections. That's off. We just got to take off those 2 bolts and put our new one in place. So I'll do that right now. Well, there we are with that. I don't know if I should unplug the battery and let everything reset, especially with that throttle position sensor. But just for the hell of it, I'm going to go start the truck and see if that made any noticeable difference right off the back. And we will go from there. The answer is almost no. It started out really, really, really rough. Now, it's definitely got a little bit of a skip still. Don't mind the speedy dry on my bench. I spilled some stuff, but I hate giving up, boys. And honestly, it told us we had a bad throttle position sensor as well. So I'm gonna put the ratchet to this. I'm gonna pull off these 2 screws holding in the throttle position sensor. This is obviously a old used one. So again, this one could have some problems as well. I can figure that out later with a voltmeter, I believe, or I'll just buy new ones and throw them in. But I'm also gonna change this out because it was a code, even though we unplugged it. Kind of odd. But that could have had nothing to do with it at all. And when I went inside after changing out that part, it's literally probably been 3 minutes. I was doing a little looking online, and it will give us some of the same issues where I rev it and it stutters at idle. So, I don't know. I was kind of like, man, I got to go change this part. Help me sleep at night instead of wondering what if. Hate wondering what if. It's better to just do it, send it, figure it out the hard way. But we're going to go over to James's truck. This is also on the passenger side, and we are going to pull off the throttle position sensor on that one as well. This should have a little spring to it when we pull it off, or none at all. Who knows? Yeah, there we go. Look at that. We're doing great already. This just sits there, and you got to twist it a little, put it on. So we're going to go do in his truck. Well, it's already funny. Right there, you can see someone has pulled out one of the screws. So that's an interesting start. We're going to start by unplugging the sensor. First things first. And hopefully I don't have to remove this bracket. So, funny enough, instead of actually removing the 2 bolts, I actually just removed the map sensor that we literally just put in place. And I'm able to get to this bolt. It's a little awkward, but I'm going to work out this screw. We're going to pull this out, throw in our new throttle position sensor, put that elbow that you just saw fall off back on that hose. Hopefully I don't lose it, because that would kind of suck. All right, I think we are pretty much... All right, here we go. I'm going to pull this thing out. Just the same as the other one. I think it's in my pocket. All right, here's our new one. So you'll see right there how this clips on. It's just got to hit that little plate, and it's got to be turned to the right ever so slightly. That way we can match up our bolt holes. So I'm going to get that in place because I only need 2 hands to do so. Oh, that makes all sorts of sense now. Someone broke a bolt in there. So I think I'm just going to have to suck it up and send it, I guess. And basically, I'm hoping that I can just start this screw a little bit and just kind of use it as a placeholder to help keep that throttle position sensor in place, but it's not going to be able to be tightened down all the way, and I'll have to come back to that. The only way to fix that is, I think, replace that throttle body housing. But just for time's sake, it's a little hack, but you gotta do what you gotta do. Well, you guys kind of get the gist of it. I put my new throttle position sensor in there. Like I said, this is not tightened down. I can't tighten it down. It only went in a couple threads, but it's just gonna help hold it in place. I put in the first screw and it was not going anywhere. We just plugged the mat back in, which you already saw us do. So I gotta connect the battery and start it up again. All right, guys, it is freezing cold out here. It is actually Thanksgiving Day. No snow yet, so that's kind of sick. But let's see if changing the throttle position sensor was a waste of my time or not. Wasted my time. $33. Well, that's interesting. Well, I'll figure out what 33 is and come back to y'all. Well, guys, I figured out the reason why James's truck is running horribly. You ready? You ready? I scanned it again, and it was saying our map was throwing another code. I hope you guys saw this earlier in the video and just were yelling at your camera or yelling at the video or something. This hose travels all the way down there and goes to that melted EGR. Just got real hot on there. It happens. Like I said, we're new to this, so we gotta unplug that hose there. Unplug it up here and just replace that line and try to reroute it a little bit better. Maybe it's supposed to sit on top of everything. That would make a little more sense. So we're going to do that right now. And then James's truck should run great. So unfortunately, didn't need to change the sensor, but it's not the end of the world, man. Look, we got this comically large hose just to go on there for right now until James can get a new one. But it plugs into the back there, runs around and right into the map. Now we're going to put the airbox back on and start the truck, and it should sound great. And that saved us a lot of trouble. But these are the things that happen when you do projects like this. You're always going to have issues, and you learn as you go. We're going to get a new hose at some point, and that'll just get him by for right now. Might sound a little funny the first time, and his radio is staying on too, which is kind of an odd issue. We're going to have to look into that. Stop. Yeah, it's dead, of course. We're back out here. It's a new morning. We were having some problems with the truck last night, so we left it on a trickle charger. But to start off today, you ready? Bam. She starts right up. So that's exciting. We've got a couple other things that we're going to work on next video. But today you guys got to see us throw in a new starter, learn how to code scan your vehicle if you get a check engine light, especially with a PaperClip. So that's pretty cool. I guess I didn't need to change those two sensors to begin with, but through trial and error, why not throw the sensors at it? Because I had them, we didn't spend any money, so I don't think it's really a big deal. And I just like taking you guys along with me through the journey. So I'll actually hold on to the sensors I pulled out of this in case, again, I ever need to throw them back in. James can get back to driving his truck, and parked right next to it is the C1500. I don't think I've gotten any clips of these together in like the same frame, so it's pretty cool. Just seeing them together. It's awesome seeing that this truck is officially on the road as well. I've said that a couple times throughout. But I believe that's going to be it for today's video. So if you guys want to see some more content on the K1500, let me know down in the comments below. See you all in the next video. Thanks for watching and peace out.